You guys sound awake.
Morning.
Morning.
My name is Devendra Hardwar. I'm the national editor at VentureBeat, and we're a technology news site. We also have a gaming news section called GameSpeak, so check that out. Some people you may remember from PGM and whatnot work there now, so follow us. And thanks for joining us for this SEGA panel. We're going to be talking about SEGA's storied history, how things are going now, especially with the big focus on mobile, and where things are going for SEGA in the future. And joining me today is Ethan Einhorn, Director of Online Services. Chris Illison, VP of Digital at SEGA. The very famous Masayoshi Kikuchi-san, who is known...
Jet Set Radio!
Yes, you can dive down to Kikuchi-san later. And Kikuchi-san is translator and also somebody who works at SEGA Brands down there. Cool, so thanks for joining us, everyone. I guess it sounds like you guys have a lot of things you really want to talk about, but this year is kind of important for SEGA because it marks the 25th anniversary of the release of the Genesis. Can you guys talk about that and what that means for SEGA now as a company?
Oh, okay. Thanks. So the SEGA Genesis, that was one of the great moments in our company's history, and we were able to spawn so many franchises that people today still love from that era. And so as we celebrate 25 years of great new IPs, we remember the value of that as we are building today's games and are looking to bring a lot of your favorite brands back.
Could you guys talk a little bit about let's set the stage here. Some of the first games you worked on since joining SEGA, so people can attach you to some of their favorite titles. Maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
So my first title at SEGA was Sonic Heroes on the GameCube and PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
My history goes a little farther back. My first title that I worked on was a game called Choo-Choo Rocket for Dreamcast.
Panzer Dragoon and Jet Set Radio and Yakuza Studios.
Whatever. Can you guys talk about, your background in gaming and what attracted you to SEGA? What made it an interesting company for you to get into? And I know, Ethan, you have a really interesting story that maybe people in this audience would want to pay attention to.
All right, so back when the Dreamcast came out, I was 16 years old. I was working at my first job at Dairy Queen. And the first 3 paychecks I got all went towards buying a Genesis with Ultra Beast in the pack.
Yeah.
So that was, what got me turned into a SEGA fanboy. From there, I just couldn't miss a platform. Most significantly, I think, was walking into an import store before the Dreamcast had come out in the United States and seeing a Japanese version of the machine running Sonic Adventure and seeing that giant whale chasing Sonic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. On the spot, I spent $600 to buy that with Virtua Fighter 3 TV and 1 controller.
주는 환영다요.
My introduction to SEGA was, I played games growing up, and I came to work for the company kind of through a back door. I have a history in web development, and I kind of came on to the online team at the launch of Dreamcast to help support the SEGANet, which is the ISP we launched for the Dreamcast.
So basically, when you first started, when you finished college, he joined SEGA, and the first game he worked on was Panzer Dragoon. Why?
僕が初めにやったのは、パンツァードラグーンの中でボスキャラクター何回か作るゲームデザイン。
So basically, worked as a kind kind of a boss creator, kind of a character designer for the characters and bosses that you see in Panzer Joy.
That's a nice way to set the stage. So yeah, you guys did the raffle thing too. There are some really interesting prizes for the end of this panel. So stay awake, pay attention. So yeah, let's see here. I guess I really want to talk about Sonic because growing up, like he was such an interesting Sonic. The blue bomber.
Right.
There we go. There's a Sonic back there. He was a really interesting character to me because at that point games were really kind of friendly, kind of like a little cutesy, and Sonic had some edge. Can you guys talk about like what was the value of the character during the Genesis days, and what does Sonic mean to people now and Sega?
So I remember specifically the first time I saw Sonic the Hedgehog running, and all I could think is, damn, he's fast. Seriously, because I was playing Super Mario Bros. 3. What I had at home was an NES, but my buddies had a Genesis. They'd just gotten one, and they'd gotten it for Sonic, and it felt like the first true next-gen game, and that's what he represented at the start. But just what's great about the character is he appeals to both old and young.
My first memory is, I think, just looking up at the screen and then seeing him look back at me and kind of cross his arms and tap his feet, what he had to do, which I thought was, the attitude I thought was the thing that really attracted me. I think he's just had a little more of an edge, which perhaps has softened over the years as the gaming industry has matured, but I think that's a good thing. I mean, it gives you a little bit of nostalgia. You can fire up a game and kind of relive a bit of your youth, I guess.
僕はソニックが会社に入った時からずっとソニック会社のマークがソニック。
So they've basically been kind of an icon and I guess kind of a symbol of Sega since Kikuchi-san has been a part of Sega.
そのソニックに代わるキャラクターを何とか作れないかっていうのをずっと目指して若い頃から。
So they'd like to look into other main characters that we can pick as well too for as kind of a main character for Sega.
And we've seen the Sonic character mature over the years. He's like, you brought up the Sonic Adventure demo, like that was, I remember seeing that for the first time, and he's running towards you, and that was such a big deal at the time. What was it like working on Sonic, and this is for Kikuchi-san too, working on Sonic for Dreamcast, on the Dreamcast days versus the Genesis days, and maybe compare it to now, like Sonic is more of a mobile character now, it seems. He belongs more, yeah.
Well, the thing that's great about working with Sonic is that the key components of that character are translatable to really any platform. So he's blue and he's fast, so obviously he worked great on 16-bit hardware. Seeing him in 3D for the first time was great, and he works out really well there. And by the way, the new Lost World game coming on the Wii U is awesome. And if you guys have tried Sonic Dash, he just fits perfectly there as well in a free runner game.
On Sonic today, and also, I guess watching Sonic change over time, what was it like Sonic on the Dreamcast, like working on that versus Sonic during the Genesis days? And we'll relate it a little to what Sonic is doing today.
Sure. In terms of Sonic on Dreamcast, my work involved on the website side of things, so we actually built a website that the Dreamcast interfaced with, just a lot of the chow management and some of the high score tracking, things like that. So kind of boring, but it was interesting for me. I guess kind of what I was saying before, Sonic is he's changed stylistically, and we have evolved the way he's looked a little bit, but I think he still kind of has the core values, to use some boring term, and that he hasn't really aged that much. And I think for me it was really interesting to see Sonic Generations, kind of so you can actually see them. I think if you just think of Sonic, he looks kind of the same in your brain, but then when you put an older version of Sonic up against the newer one, you kind of see the difference between the two and how he has evolved over time. And to Ethan's point, I think he's a blue guy that runs fast, so I think that it lends itself to a lot of different applications, a lot of different types of games, which we certainly have been doing and have done in the past, and will continue to do in the future.
And Kikuchi-san, Sonic in the Dreamcast days, like how was it different from the Genesis days?
今のソニックは一番大きな違い。なるほど。ドリームキャストの頃は一番なんだろうな、こうスマートでクールで、今はもっと馴染みやすくなってるんじゃないかなと僕自身は思ってます。
Yeah, so basically, the image back then was to try and make him smart and cool, and now he's, much more kind of a lovable character.
I'm really interested too. I love the Genesis. I had that growing up. The Dreamcast kind of holds a special place in my heart because it was the first console I was able to buy with my own money. Similar to you, like I had a job at Office Max, which still exists somewhere, and I bought the Dreamcast as soon as I could. Could you guys talk about maybe a little about the development or the launch of the Dreamcast? I know you guys may not have direct experience to that. And also, I remember that dark day at the end of 2001 when SEGA announced no more consoles. What was that like for you being at SEGA during that event?
I'm going to hand that one over to Chris because he was there.
Okay.
So the launch, obviously, pretty easy to remember, 9999 for me anyways. A lot of nines. It's obviously a very fun time, very chaotic, rushing to market. A lot of games you pin a date to them, and that's often difficult for developers because the game usually is done when it's done, not when a marketing person tells them it needs to be done. So certainly a lot of down-to-the-wire type activities, but fun. 2001, certainly, there's been better news that I've heard in my professional career, but I think SEGA's done really well to regroup and to continue to offer compelling game experiences to gamers everywhere.
So one of the biggest challenges that they faced at the time of the Dreamcast launch was actually implementing kind of online gameplay. Being able to play, over the net was kind of a big thing back then.
セガの中では本当に当時のソニーさんですとか、任天堂さんに活動っていうのをすごく盛り上がってたっていう僕の印象。
So there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of activity going on because at the time there was also Nintendo was coming out with new things. There was a new thing called a PlayStation at that point. So there's a lot of exciting activity and challenges I think for SEGA and everyone involved.
I'll tell you guys, I remember when the PS2 launched, and those games looked a lot worse than the Dreamcast games I was playing. So I know it's always felt kind of unfair to me. I'm sure maybe there are a lot of people in this audience. Soul Calibur, man. The motion capturing, the smoothing on that, I could go on forever. Could we talk about what SEGA is doing today, specifically in mobile? I know you guys have some PC games as well that you're working on. So let's talk about mobile. What is SEGA up to today?
So mobile, it's a really cool new space because you can play games for free, and it's a great space for introducing new brands. So what we're doing at SEGA is, while we're making sure that we're taking care of our classic brands and bringing them to consumers in exciting new ways, we're also building new brands. And for us, we don't want to fast follow, which is a phrase in our industry for imitating other companies. We want to do new things. We want to bring new experiences to the table and take risks and show you something really exciting on the mobile platforms. And that's what SEGA is all about.
I agree.
Anything from Kikuchi-san on what Sega's doing now on mobile? And, yeah.
僕は、日本の、モバイルゲームっていうのは少し前まではブラウザで遊ぶゲームっていうのがたくさんあったんですけれども
So there's a lot of, up until now, there's been a whole lot of games in Japan online, but kind of more browser-based games.
その中でいち早くですね、ネイティブの、ブラウザでない本格的に遊び応えのあるゲームというのを目指していろいろと手がけています。
So we're looking for kind of an opportunity to bring more of a realistic game experience, kind of away from the browser, more to you.
It's definitely interesting to see all these Sega games on mobile now. I have so many Sonic games on this phone now. We were also talking about the launch of the Genesis. Is there anything going on? I think I had a tidbit of news from a mobile version of Kingdom Quest 2. You guys had some news now around that, around the 25th anniversary of the Genesis?
Yep.
Yeah.
So 25 years. It's amazing that it's been that long since Genesis came out. But we're doing a number of things this year to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Genesis. And one of the first things we're doing is in our free-to-play mobile game Kingdom Conquest 2. We're introducing Gilead's Thunderhead to the game, as well as the werewolf from Altered Beast. So we're really having fun with that. And again, that's one of the great things about the IP that we have, the intellectual properties, the brands that Sega has, is that we can take, from the 25 years of history of building great properties and bring them into today's games.
Ethan, I think you really have an interesting perspective in mobile too, because you were there in 2008 on stage with Steve Jobs when they launched the App Store, and that kind of changed the face of gaming for the next couple of years. Can you talk about that experience, and I don't know how important it was that Sega was there at the beginning?
Yeah, we were in a really exciting window at the launch of the App Store. I was working on Super Monkey Ball. And the thing about Super Monkey Ball is it's just so easy to explain, and it sounds so fun when you just say it's about rolling a monkey around and trying to get him to a goal, you know? So Apple responded well to that, and we were able to be there at the launch of the App Store. And professional memory that I'll always hold to my heart was Steve Jobs telling us in person, this is going to be the #1 app at the launch of the App Store when he was playing it, and it was. And seeing that actually happen was a remarkable thing.
Do you guys have any comment on the significance of Sega being there at the beginning? Does that tell us something about Sega as a company or how they innovate?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think Sega has a history of innovation, always trying to bring new experiences to gamers. I think if you look at the Dreamcast, it was the first built-in internet-connected hardware using a 56.6K modem, which is pretty crazy. So I guess we try to maintain that culture of innovation. Even though we're not making hardware anymore, we still have a lot of the engineers and designers that were working back then. So you see that innovation in the types of games that we are designing, both for PC console and either for PC console or mobile. So.
Ethan, you guys had experience working with Apple before the App Store announcement. I remember, there was a Sonic game on the iPad, the click wheel iPad.
So the click wheel iPad, if you guys remember, iPod, that's right. Yeah, there was no iPad at that time.
Yes.
The click wheel iPod, yeah, we actually did bring a version of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was pixel perfect. It was a little tough to control. Yeah.
I can imagine doing the spinning just by flipping the wheel so many times. So you guys are bringing some classic franchises down to mobile now too. You did Jet Set Radio, and this one's for Kikuchi-san too. What was that experience like, actually deciding to bring Jet Set Radio to mobile, and what were the challenges involved? Because the controls in that game were always, I love that game, the controls were always kind of, I was fighting with them. So how did you translate that to mobile?
一つにはこの端末で動くようにするっていうところがまず
So the first challenge is actually getting the game to run on one of these little devices here. So that's a pretty big challenge.
でもう一歩進んでかけるさらに進化させる場合にはそこに合わせた UI どうやったら同じような体験ができるのかっていう立場に合わせる
So how do you? Another big challenge is how do you bring kind of the user interface and the kind of the simplified experience that you get with a console game to kind of a touch interface. It's a big challenge with moving from kind of a controller based into touch based.
And you guys, you also brought Crazy Taxi to mobile as well. It's another game that I love. Any updates on how that franchise is going to live on in the future? Is it going to be mainly focused on that now?
I can take a stab at that. Just to say, we recognize that Crazy Taxi is one of our most popular brands. We love it within SEGA as much as you guys love it, so we recognize the value of continuing to work on big brands like that. I wish I could be more specific.
I'm kind of interested too, because you guys have such a wealth of franchises and brands to pull from. How does SEGA decide, who to bring back, who to bring to mobile, who to put on the Xbox Live Arcade? Because I've been replaying a lot of classic games there too.
I think it's a combination. We do actually do some pretty meticulous type of research to figure out what kinds of characters still resonate with people. There's obviously a lot of characters in our history, so it's a combination of looking to see what people remember and think fondly of, and also what we think we could either reintroduce or reimagine. And of course, it's important to consider the platform, so we want to make sure that game experience fits the device or the console or the PC that you're playing on.
Gotcha. One thing I've noticed too is that you guys have been on the PC side. You're focusing a lot on RTS and strategy games. That seems almost like dangerous territory because I feel like a lot of PC publishers are backing away from that. Why embrace it now?
I wouldn't say we're embracing it now. I think Creative Assembly, our studio in the UK, has been doing the Total War series for a decade or more. So I think it's a space that we feel very comfortable in, and it's I guess a pretty tried and true genre, for lack of a better word. We recently acquired a studio, Relic Entertainment, out of Vancouver. They do the game Company of Heroes, which is also a very storied RTS. So I guess some publishers maybe are moving out of the space because they haven't really mastered it. And I think we are in a pretty good position where we have at least two dev studios that really know the format and are able to excel at it.
Okay. I know you guys also announced, I think towards the end of last year, that you were acquiring Atlas, maker of some really classic RPG franchises. Any updates on what that means? Will Atlas change at all? How will Atlas operate under SEGA?
I can't really talk at length about it. It was obviously a decision that was made in Japan. Atlas parent company is a Japanese company. They certainly make some great games, and I don't think there would be any reason why SEGA would want to disrupt that. But it just happened. Actually, the deal hasn't officially closed, so there's still a lot of lawyers talking and stuff. So once all that boring stuff's over, I definitely look forward to see how SEGA and Atlas will work together.
Okay. And just wondering, personally, what SEGA games would you guys like to see coming to mobile at some point? we don't see that.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3.
Streets of Rage.
Sakura Wars.
Yeah. I'll say, in a perfect world where anything was possible, you know, one franchise that would make a ton of sense to me would be Shining Force.
Yeah.
There's so much to choose from. I would love to see I guess a revised version of Jet Set that was maybe a little more playable on the mobile platform. I agree that the controls were definitely, they were hard enough on the console, for me anyways. So I would love to see, I think we could do some really interesting things with the touch interface and the skating and the grinding and the graffitiing.
セガのフランチャイズがいっぱいあるんですけど、その中に、どんなフランチャイズ、モバイルの方にできないですか？
僕はゴールデンアクセスがストレッチグローブベンチのファンなので、すごい大ファンなので、それをいつか持ってくるんであれば、
That's great. So yeah, Golden Axe and Streets of Rage are two franchises. I agree.
Thanks, guys. I think we have a system, something from Sega. Let's take a look.
Afterburner climax. Sonic Dash. The House of the Dead. Woo! Kingdom Conquest 2.
Something else you want to announce too, right?
Yep. So we're really excited today to share with all of you something that we have not told the press about yet. We wanted to talk to the fans first, the guys that would come to a panel like this. So today we're going to announce to you guys for the first time Kikuchi-san's new project coming to the United States before the end of the year. And here's a trailer.
決と共闘の新世代バトルが幕を開ける。我々の住む幻遊界とデーモンの住む無限界、その境界線を監視し続ける者たち、秘密結社オメガサベイランス。闇に生きる者たち、あくまで戦え。エージェントを選び、デーモンを従えて、いざ戦場へ。仲間と敵を駆逐し、スキルを駆使してデーモンの化身となれ。デーモンの持つ巨大な力を操り、敵を一掃。敵本拠地を破壊せよ。次なる戦いに備えてアジトを広げ、錬金素材を集め、武器を作り出す。強力なデーモンを召喚せよ。そして繰り広げられる数々のドラマ。今、世界を揺るがす戦い、幕を開ける。デーモンプライド。
Do you guys want to say anything? And I also want Kikuchi-san to tell us a little bit about the game at some point too.
日本語のムービーで分かりにくくてごめんなさい。
Sorry for the Japanese movie, it might be a little difficult to understand.
このデーモンストライクはモバスタイルの新しいゲームを目指して作っていました。
So we created this game to try and realize the idea of creating a MOBA, kind of a MOBA experience on a mobile platform.
で、一人でも遊ぶことができるんですが、オンラインを通じて最大3対3の対戦がすることができます。
So you can play basically by yourself as a single player, or you can also play up to 3 versus 3 online with clan and battle modes online.
で、ゲームの一番の特徴は自分がですね、自分の好きな初めにセットしたデーモンに変身しながら戦うことができます。
So the thing that we think that everyone's really going to enjoy the most about this game is the opportunity to collect and build out your demon decks. Basically, you have 5 demons you can put within your deck, and you grow them, you love them, you take care of them, you grow them up into big bad demons and create a really outstanding roster.
で、これまでのモバスタイルのゲームと違うのはスマートフォンですので短時間で遊べることと、もう一つは毎日少しずつ遊んでいくことができて、それで楽しむことができるスタイル。
So we think this is going to be a really unique experience for the average player, someone who might like MOBAs, because the game itself is something that you can play in a very short amount of time. You have the opportunity to have a quick battle, 3 to 5 minutes, and then you're done, and you can come back anytime. And you can play as little or as much as you want and progress at your own speed.
フリートプレイのスタイルなんですが、お金を使わなくても十分楽しんでいただける内容になってますので、ぜひ楽しみに遊んでみてください。
So it's free to play, but really you can play almost as much of the game as you possibly can without spending any money. And we think that it's going to be a blast, and we'd love for everyone to go out and have a good time with it and give it a shot. Let's even try.
Thanks. So let's open the floor up to questions from the audience. Does anybody have questions for these folks? Question way back there, and then we'll move on down.
It's very nice to see Sonic in Wreck-It Ralph. You guys had a bigger role for Sonic in the sequel?
You'll have to wait and see.
You, sir? Yeah.
I love Yakuza. You know, I'm sure many of you do as well. You know, we can't speak specifically on that right now, but we can tell you that, you know, we're always paying close attention to what the fans are saying.
I think there was, yes. Well, that lady, and then you go. Uh-huh. Sonic Dash and Android.
I can confirm that it will be coming out to Android in the next couple months.
All right, but yeah, in relation to the next to the free-to-play, is that only for iOS or is that coming out on all major platforms?
Demon Tribe is going to be out on Android and iOS.
Me? Okay. Yes, I'm here on the behalf of SEGABits. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous meeting you guys at Sega. I was wondering if you guys are planning to do more of the Sega Heritage lineup, like maybe bring in Virtua Fighter, The House of the Dead, or maybe Sakura Tyson for like platforms like for Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, or perhaps mobile phones.
Questions more is the Sega Heritage lineup coming.
Hires Mix.
We kind of touched on it a little bit. We certainly are always looking at our back catalog to see what might be a good fit for new platforms or for mobile. We can't comment obviously specifically about specific titles, but we do have obviously a rich history of different types of characters and game experiences, so we do evaluate them, and I would expect some of those you'll see at some point in the future. Others you may not. It's just the way it goes, unfortunately.
You sir there, white phone, front?
Like I have three.
Try to slim it down, yeah.
When will Phantasy Star Like Online 2 come to America like a Vita? That's number one. Will it be a Vanquish sequel? And number three, crap, I forgot. Fighters Mega Mix on the Sega Saturn was a like combination of all the Sega fighters.
Yes.
I feel like Sega has a huge roster. It can add other characters from the franchises like, Golden Axe, Yakuza, Phantasy Star, or like a Sega version of Super Smash Brothers.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so we had three questions.
Here's number two.
Here's the two.
What was the second one? Vanquish. Okay, yeah, I'll take the first two. So Phantasy Star Online 2, obviously, I would love to see it come out here in the States as soon as possible. I think one of the challenges is that maybe we're a little cursed by the success of the title. It has been an overwhelming hit in Japan, so the dev team is really focused on supporting the title there, so they don't want the game to fall down for the Japanese audience. So I know that we made an announcement. We even brought the title to PAX 2 years ago. So unfortunately, the plans that we've been making have just been kind of on hold. So I can't say definitively when it's coming or even if it's coming, but I would say it hasn't been canceled for the West. I can tell you that much, but I can't. There's nothing we can say officially about the matter at the moment. Vanquish 2, a little more cut and dry. I mean, that game was developed by Platinum, which is not a SEGA studio. So if there's a sequel, that would be a question for that development studio, and we can't answer that question, unfortunately. You want to take a stab at the last one?
Yeah, and a Sega Smash Brothers Game Boy, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I love that idea, and what I can tell you is we can drop a note to AM2 saying that a fan asked about that, because I think it's a really cool idea. So.
Woo! Don't forget Sakura.
Quickly, you sir, next to you, right next to you, because he had his hand up for a while.
Skylanders has been such a huge hit here in America. Would Sega be doing something similar to that, like what Disney did with the Infinity Toys.
You are really making me want to say things I'm not allowed to say yet. So I'll just say that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean it's a moneymaker for everybody too. So I'm sure Sega's like, yeah. The younger gentleman, way back.
Is it just like Sonic Dash just a copy of Temple Run? Because I haven't noticed that.
You say it louder.
Is it Sonic Dash just a copy of Temple Run? Because Temple Run was really popular and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can say there's similarities, but if you ask me, I think Sonic is the original endless runner. So I think and sure, there's similarities, but I think at the end of the day, Sonic is Sonic, and he's doing what he does best in that game, just running.
Honestly, I've always found it funny how Temple Run looked a lot like Sonic Adventure, like those really linear paths. So, who knows where it starts. Yes, ma'am. Take her first, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you've been following the recent events of what's going on in the Sonic Archie comics. But since pretty much the series has been rebooted and the characters, like the Freedom Fighters, have been redesigned, have you ever considered maybe eventually down the road, since you like introducing SEGA characters, if you would ever consider actually putting the new redesigned Freedom Fighters into the Sonic games?
It's a good question. Yeah. So what I'll say is, we think the Archie comics are great. My favorite recent was Mega Man and Sonic. I thought that was a lot. And that being said, we have some very big and very exciting plans for Sonic in the near future. We just announced that Sonic is coming back to television. I've seen some early clips and it looks amazing. But with that in mind, in the Archie comics, it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to take all of the different areas where Sonic exists and try to pull some of that together. So can't say more than that, but I hope that vaguely answers your question.
Do anyone have any questions for Kikuchi-san specifically?
Yes, Kikuchi-san questions. You sir.
Well, any of the Pencil Dragon games, the ports and Xbox Live and PSN and Wii U, Jensen Radio.
Jensen's there.
You guys have any comments on that?
We don't have any comment to make on that right now, but we're always looking at things like that as possibility. Jet Set is already out. Yeah, and Jet Set on mobile phone is going to be getting controllers as well.
Quick one, because I like lick on sword, so I just quickly go. Yeah, question is about Sonic Adventure 3. Is it going to happen?
So Squall, let me tell you. Actually, funny thing, in Japan, the game that we know as Sonic Unleashed was called Sonic World Adventure. So that technically is Sonic Adventure 3.
Alright. We're going to set for questions now because there's some other stuff we need to do, including the raffle. I'm sure you're all going to enjoy that. And you guys can hunt these folks down and ask questions.
He doesn't like that one.
All right, you guys, we're going to start by pulling 10 names, and we'll have Kikuchi-san pull the names. First person is Joseph Kemnick.
Let's have a line right in front of our panel here.
Second is Kevin
Evan Singleton. Juan Carvalho. Alex Shapiro. Christine Santiago. Andrew Martello. Andrew Doe. Jennifer Santos. And last person is Neil Shapiro.
Is that a father-son team?
It is.
Excellent.
Henry Trice.
Okay, so we have some pretty cool prizes to give away today. We don't have 10 prizes, so we have to narrow down the group. First, let's talk about what the prizes are, so that you guys know. We have 2 runner-up prizes here, which are copies of the Japanese soundtrack to Sonic CD.
Oh my god!
So then, we have 2 grand prizes. The first grand prize is the SEGA Dreamcast, or brand new inbox Dreamcast.
Oh.
Now, what we're going to do with that is Kikuchi-san is going to take it out of the box and he is going to sign the lid for the winner. And finally, one of the most beloved and rarest SEGA games of all time, Panzer Dragoon Saga. We have a sealed copy that we are going to be giving somebody today. And
take care of
along
it.
with that, you have the Jet Set Radio soundtrack, which Kikuchi-san is going to sign for you. Okay, so we're going to do it spelling bee style. And so, yes, this is going to be some SEGA trivia. We're going to start out pretty easy, but some of the questions at the end get really hard. So we'll see how long these guys can last. Okay,
All right,
so
good luck.
starting at the very end here, these 2 aliens are from Funkatron.
Oh my god.
And if you're, oh no, and I should be clear, if you don't know the answer, then you're out, and we'll give you a nice follow-up prize. Yeah. Okay. So, don't know the answer? Okay. Does anyone in the audience know? Go ahead. Someone just yell it out.
Toe Jam Arrow!
Okay. Yes. So thank you so much for participating. And we have a follow-up for you there. Okay, great. All right. So one down. Thank you for participating. Who was Sega's mascot prior to the introduction of Sonic the Hedgehog? All right. Little rule, can't say it out loud. Let's try another one. Okay. What's the name of the maraca shaking monkey who made his home debut on the Dreamcast?
Oh, this is so easy.
Okay, audience?
Somebody Migo!
Okay, thank you very much for participating. What's the name of the SEGA arcade racing series that features a red Ferrari? No? No? Okay, audience?
Outrun!
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Name the SEGA tennis game series. Alright, you're staying in. What is the name of the Sonic game where Sonic turns into a werewolf?
Oh my god.
You got it! Sonic and Leaf. Famous game characters from which series are featured alongside Sonic in our Wii Olympic titles?
Oh god. So
Yup, Mario. Okay, what was Dr. Eggman called in the original US release of Sonic for Genesis? Yes! Whoa. Alright, now I thought you might be too young for Wow.
Alex.
Okay, let's see. What was the name of the Sega video game starring Michael Jackson? Yes, Moonwalker. Name the leading lady in Space Channel 5. Do you know? Okay, no problem. Audience?
Ooh la la!
There you go. Thank you so much for participating. We do have a concession prize for you. Okay, now we're going a little old school here. Which football all-star headlined Sega's first party football games on the Sega Genesis? I know.
Bart Star. Right.
You can pass. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Take a guess. I can't, I'm sorry. I know. Alright, audience? Sorry. Thank you so much. Okay. How many bits was the main processor in a Sega Genesis? 16. Ah, you can't say it out loud. Okay. What is the name of the Genesis packing game featuring a centurion who turns into a werewolf?
Oh, we just said it too.
Okay, name the Disney movie in which Sonic has a cameo.
You just said that too.
Huh? What was the full name of the Xbox Panzer Dragoon game? Okay, audience?
Ultra.
Yes, thank you so much.
What's this?
Okay, what is the name of the zombie arcade light gun game series from Sega?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Come on.
I hate you people.
You don't know this stuff.
It just
And we actually do have, we had 5 runner-up prizes, so you do get a Sonic CD soundtrack.
Now back to the question.
Okay, House of the Dead.
Yes.
Okay. Name the Sonic game cartridge that allowed you to insert past games in the series.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so easy.
Sure, we're going to ask you one more time. Name the Sonic game cartridge that allowed you to insert past games in the series into it.
The lock-on technology. So easy. Simple.
What's that? Sonic game cartridge. Wait, say that again? His official answer is Sonic and Knuckles. Is he right?
Yes.
Correct.
Correct. Lock-on technology.
Okay. Finish the sentence. Welcome to the next.
Oh.
Yes. What platform did the Panzer Dragoon series debut on?
So.
You don't know. Audience?
Saturn.
Okay. That was the Sega Saturn. Yes. So. Okay, so we are down to the last two. So you guys are both getting some pretty amazing prizes here. Let's see who gets the top prize. The top prize is going to be the Panzer Dragoon Saga Unseal. Name the 2 add-on systems for the Sega Genesis.
Ooh, you got it.
What's the name of the CD-ROM? Okay, great. Which of Sonic's best friends is an echidna? Yes. All right, now we're getting a slightly harder question. What does Sega originally stand for?
Oh, so easy.
What's that? A signed Dreamcast from Kikuchi-san. And Panzer Dragoon Saga. Is that your final answer? All right, audience.
Service games and standard games in the beginning.
But we are going to now have a signed Dreamcast for you. Fresh out of the box.
So jelly.
Oh, jelly.
Maxwell jelly.
Yeah.
Although I'd rather have Panzer Dragoon. No idea.
Okay, let's give him a round of applause. Okay, and so then we have the winner for Panzer Dragoon Saga. We're going to hand that off to you, and again, we're going to have Kikuchi-san sign the copy of Jet Set Radio soundtrack for you as well. When is Jet Set Radio 3 coming out? We'll have to see.
Oh.
Okay.
One last question.
Like Sonic R2.
Shenmue 3
Like Sonic R.
and Fighters Mega Mix.
Alright, thank you guys all for coming. I think we're out of time today.
I didn't come empty.